Springs. How you doing today? Welcome to the show. Josh Poet. Let's jump into our dream spell for today. Today, it's called the Blue Electric Night, guided by the hand. The Blue Electric Night, guided by the hand. Blue is the color of transformation. Electric tone is tone number 3. It's called the electric tone of activation. And the night, N-I-G-H-T, it's the third symbol. The night is all about abundance and dreams and your intuition. And then you have the guide for today, which is the blue hand, and the blue hand is all about accomplishment. On the Gregorian calendar, it is Tuesday, September 13th, 2011. All right, so last couple days, or yesterday, you've heard the debates, another round of them. And usually when these debates have been going on, Ron Paul seems to be left out in the cold, at least from the perspective of the mainstream media. They really don't want you to know much about what he does afterwards. And strangely enough, Ron Paul leads in the polls. They don't tell you about this. They show you the 3 that are in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place. But in the majority of the polls so far, the ones that have been at MSNBC, at Fox, and at CNN, Ron Paul is usually in the lead, and then they talk about the others who are usually about 50% behind Ron Paul, and that would be Mitt Romney, Rick Perry, and Michelle Bachmann. So it's quite strange how they do that. They want, I don't know, I guess they don't want people to know. Maybe it's going to backfire on them because more people are going to the internet and finding out for themselves. Anyway, that's my little prelude to this segment we're going to do, which is highlights of the debate and what Ron Paul had to say yesterday. So check it out. I'll be back.
I'm Congressman Ron Paul, a congressman from Texas. I've been in the Congress for 20 years. My goal has always been to promote the cause of liberty and to obey the Constitution. I plan to do that as president as well.
And do you agree with Governor Perry that Social Security is a Ponzi scheme?
Well, I agree that Social Security is broke, and we spent all the money, and it's on its last legs unless we do something. One bill that I had in Congress that never got passed was to prevent the Congress from spending any of that money on the wars and all the nonsense that we do around the world. Now, the other thing that I would like to see done is a transition. I think it's terrible that the Social Security system is in the problems. It has the problems that it has. But if people wouldn't have spent the money, we would be okay. Now, what I would like to do is to allow all the young people to get out of Social Security and go on their own. Now, the big question is how would the funding occur?
If you were president of the United States, would you repeal prescription drug benefits for seniors under Medicare? Congressman Paul, what about you? Would you repeal it?
Well, we shouldn't have never started it. I voted against it, but that sure wouldn't be on my high list. I would find a lot of cuts, a lot of other places. Matter of fact, on Social Security, it is already being reformed because the cost of living increases aren't there, so the value is going down. So, no, there's places we should cut, and we spend, and I'm not sure I can get anybody to agree with me on this panel, but we spend $1.5 trillion overseas in wars that we don't need to be in, and we need to cut there and then put this money back into our economy here. And that is the only way to achieve it. Then it still wouldn't be enough in order to get some people out. What we need to do is cut the Department of Education, the Department of Energy, and all these departments and get rid of them. Then we can do it.
Congressman Paul, you're from Texas. Does your governor deserve all that credit?
Not quite. I'm a taxpayer there. My taxes have gone up. Our taxes have doubled since he's been in office. Our spending has gone up double. Our debt has gone up nearly triple. So, no, and 170,000 of the jobs were government jobs. So I would put a little damper on this, but I don't want to offend the governor because he might raise my taxes or something. But I would like to mention something that was said earlier about a tax cut. And how do you pay for a tax cut? I think that's the wrong principle, because when you give people their money back, it's their money. You don't have to pay for it. That means the government owns all of our money if you look that way. All right. So we have to cut the spending, and a good way to start, there's a little embassy we built over in Baghdad. It cost us $1 billion. It's big bigger than the Vatican. That's what's bankrupting this country, and that's the easy place to cut. That's where we should be cutting.
Under what circumstances should a president sign an executive order, and how frequently should such an order be signed?
Congressman Paul.
The executive orders have been grossly abused by all administrations for a lot of years. But you can't. But some executive orders are legal. When the president executes proper function of the presidency, like moving troops and other things, yes, it's done with an executive order. But the executive order should never be used to legislate. That is what is so bad. So the executive order should be taken under control, and I've made a promise, if as president, I would never use the executive order to legislate.
You're a physician, Ron Paul, so you're a doctor. You know something about this subject. Let me ask you this hypothetical question. A healthy 30-year-old young man has a good job, makes a good living, but decides, you know what, I'm not going to spend $200 or $300 a month for health insurance because I'm healthy, I don't need it. But, you know, something terrible happens, all of a sudden he needs it. Who's going to pay for if he goes into a coma, for example? Who pays for that?
In a society that you accept welfareism and socialism, he expects the government to take care of it.
What do you want?
But what he should do is whatever he wants to do and assume responsibility for himself. My advice to him would have a major medical policy, but not before.
But he doesn't have that. He doesn't have it, and he needs intensive care for 6 months. Who pays?
That's what freedom is all about, taking your own risk. This whole idea that you have to prepare and take care of everybody.
But, Congressman, are you saying the society should just let him die?
No. I practiced medicine before we had Medicaid in the early 1960s when I got out of medical school. I practiced at Santa Rosa Hospital in San Antonio, and the churches took care of him. We never turned anybody away from the hospital, and we've given up on this whole concept that we might take care of ourselves and assume responsibility for ourselves, our neighbors, our friends, our churches would do it. This whole idea, that's the reason the cost is so high. The cost is so high because dump it on the government, becomes a bureaucracy, it becomes special interest, it kowtows to the insurance companies and the drug companies. Then on top of that, you have the inflation. The inflation devalues the dollar. We have lack of competition. There's no competition in medicine. Everybody's protected by licensing. We should actually legalize alternative health care, allow people to practice what they want.
Congressman Paul.
First thing I would like to do is make sure that you understand there's a difference between military spending and defense spending. I'm tired of all the militarism that we're involved in, and we're wasting this money and getting us involved. And I agree, we are still in danger, but most of the danger comes by our lack of wisdom on how we run our foreign policy. So I would say there's a lot of room to cut on the military, but not on the defense. You can slash the military spending. We don't need to be building airplanes that were used in World War II. We're always fighting the last war. But we're under great threat because we occupy so many countries. We're in 130 countries. We have 900 bases around the world. We're going broke. The purpose of al-Qaeda was to attack us, invite us over there where they can target us, and they have been doing it. They have more attacks against us and the American interest per month than occurred in all the years before 9/11. But we're there, occupying their land. And if we think that we can do that and not have retaliation, we're kidding ourselves. We have to be honest with ourselves. What would we do if another country, say China, did to us what we do to all those countries over there? So I would say a policy, a foreign policy that takes care of our national defense, that we're willing to get along with people and trade with people as the founders advised. There's no authority in the Constitution to be the policeman of the world, and no nation building. Just remember, George Bush won the presidency on that platform in the year 2000, and I still think it's a good platform.
All right, let me let Senator Santorum respond, because I know you strongly disagree.
On your website on 9/11, you had a blog post that basically blamed the United States for 9/11. On your website yesterday, you said that it was our actions that brought about the actions of 9/11. Now, Congressman Paul, that is irresponsible, A president of the United States running for, someone who's running for the president of the United States in the Republican Party should not be parroting what Osama bin Laden said on 9/11. We should have, we are not being attacked, and we were not attacked because of our actions. We were attacked, as Newt talked about, because we have a civilization that is antithetical to the civilization of the jihadists. And they want to kill us because of who we are and what we stand for. And we stand for American exceptionalism. We stand for freedom and opportunity for everybody around the world. And I am not ashamed to do that.
30 seconds, Mr. Paul.
As long as this country follows that idea, we're going to be under a lot of danger. This whole idea that the whole Muslim world is responsible for this and they're attacking us because we're free and prosperous, that is just not true. Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda have been explicit. They have been explicit, and they wrote and said that we attacked America because you had bases on our Holy Land in Saudi Arabia. You do not give Palestinians a fair treatment, and you have been bombing. I didn't say that. I'm trying to get you to understand what the motive was behind the bombing. At the same time, we had been bombing and killing hundreds of thousands of Iraqis for 10 years. Would you be annoyed? If you're not annoyed, then there's some problem.
All right, we're going to stay on this. I want to go down and get your thoughts on something you would bring to the White House if you were the next president of the United States.
I'd bring a bushel basket full of common sense. And I would also bring a course in Austrian economics to teach the people the business cycle and why the Fed creates inflation and depressions and all our unemployment problems. I'm Congressman Ron Paul, a congressman from Texas. I've been in a congressman.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of people.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw a UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The evidence is overwhelming. Step past your fear, take a look. Illuminati lies keep growing. What they're losing from your eyes. And wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What would our founding fathers say if they were alive today? Must be turning in their graves. Redcoats are coming, big brother's watching. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. One if by land and two if by sea, and I on the opposite shore will be ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. When a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise.
time to demand the truth.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. This is Josh, and this is the UFO News for today. We're going to start things off here over at theexaminer.com. Our first story here comes to us from Roger Marsh. It says multiple cylinder UFOs cross Michigan skies. A Michigan witness reports watching multiple vertically positioned cylinder-shaped flaming objects that crossed the sky slowly just above the treetops from the southwest to the northwest, according to September 12, 2011 testimony from the Mutual UFO Witness Reporting Database. They appear to look big, vertical hot air balloon flames, only without the balloon, basket, or accompanying noise, the witness stated. The objects were arranged in groups and appeared to make formations. They were traveling in groups and or triangular formations as well as a singularity, all along the same path, together, one right after another. One of the witnesses ran inside for a camcorder and they were able to capture a piece of the event. The best perspective we were able to capture was the one we got showing the three of these independent, non-connected cylinder-shaped balls of flame traveling together in a triangular-shaped formation. We have a video here. Let's take a look at this. And alright, it's not a video, it's a picture, and as you can see here, we've got the three objects, three lights here. Are these part of a triangular object, or are these moving independently? Alright, that is the question, and that is our first story for today. Our next story comes to us also from the Examiner. This is an orange light expands and lights up an Arizona hillside. Roger Marsh, an Arizona witness, 16 miles southeast of Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport, reports watching a bright light getting brighter that turned orange and oval-shaped and hovered as it expanded about 75 feet wide, according to December 12, 2011 testimony from the Mutual UFO Witness Reporting Database. The witness stepped outside at 10:17 p.m. on September 11, 2011, saw a white light that was assumed to be an approaching plane with landing lights. The witness, his dog, who is usually eager to go outside, hesitated and looked up in the sky in the direction the light was coming from. I couldn't see any FAA lights on it, but I thought that was maybe because the landing lights were so bright, the witness stated. Then, as I was just about to lose interest and turn away, I could see that the light was becoming more and more orange-colored and getting brighter. The more orange it got, the more oval-shaped it became, and the larger it seemed to be. Alright, let's take a look at what we got here. Alright, we know video, but we do have a location of where this sighting took place. Alright, right over here, close to the airport area. Alright, moving right along, our next story. So-called reasons for governments in trying to consider UFO sightings as a hoax. This comes to us from latest-UFO-sightings.net. A lot of people question as to why the government authorities usually attempt to call UFO sightings a hoax. However, there is a report claiming that the government authorities do not intend to make their people terrified of real existence of these UFOs. UFOs have intrigued the world for many years. The manner they show up in thin air has made them a puzzle. The patterns can usually be claimed. Their pattern and their claimed design have often drawn attention. Yet so far these UFOs have been generally named as a hoax from scientists and aviation professionals. Now there arrives an in-depth report that lastly shows that disapproval and questions brought up by the so-called aviation experts and several government authorities were in fact targeted at making individuals secure about these things and denying the existence of any UFOs. The report is going to show up on the History Channel, is disclosing the intervening effort of the government and top secret approach of CIA in preventing reports of sightings and their encounters with UFOs. Now it has surfaced that the U.S. government and its secret service institutions have been attempting to stop this legitimate accounts from aircraft pilots and prompting them to ignore that anything of that sort occurred. Only more than 2 decades ago, there was a near encounter of a Japanese 747 with a set of UFOs that was also documented by air traffic control. The UFOs, whose quality at one time went up to 3 went after the aircraft for around 30 minutes prior to disappearing thin air. An ex-senior official of the Federal Aviation, John Callahan, claims that he had to give up all the documents regarding the UFO sighting that were gathered by the air traffic control and particulars given to him by pilot to CIA authorities who told him to keep quiet on the matter. He mentioned that the authorities explained it was important so as not to scare the American public. The Huffington Post report reveals that there is an increase in sightings of UFOs and a lot more sightings are blown out as a hoax. And then we go to Italy. From Tracy Pierce over the Examiner, it says on Sunday, September 11th, a UFO was seen in the skies over Uta in Sardinia, a commune municipality in the province of Cagliari, Italy. The unidentified flying object was described as sensational by the 40-year-old person who spotted it. The video was recorded Sunday night, was featured on Rowan 990's channel. From a distance, the UFO looked like a glowing orb, sphere, or orange sphere, where the cameraman zoomed in on the object. It appeared to have flat edges. Its shape resembled a diamond or cut gemstone of various flat-sized surfaces or facets. Let's take a look at what we see here. Alright. Alright, UFO 9/11/2011. Look at that. Now that's a weird looking one. That is a shape that I don't think I have seen before. It is, well, it's kind of like a diamond shape. It's a very strange diamond shape light that is coming from this, and definitely it's orange in color. Alright, this video will be up at our YouTube page. You can check it out later. And our next story comes to us. Well, this is an interesting one here. I wanted you to see this because check this out. There's a cloud that looks like Elvis. The king is alive and well, and he's up in the clouds. Thank you very much. It says, I also saw on the Taiwan news about the Spain cloud. I am also including the other photos of the same cloud. Perhaps aliens whose ships hide or make these clouds made the Elvis tribute to remind us that Elvis was never one of us in the first place. Beautiful tribute to the king. Thanks, aliens. So that's pretty darn awesome, don't you think? Elvis Presley up in the sky. And our last story for the day, well, this is a compilation of sightings that have taken place. No, this is a sighting, it's a scary lightning. Let's check this out, see what we got here. Probably going to have to zip ahead. Alright, there we got, right here, you can see it. Moving across the sky. Alright, there seems to be a couple of them. 1, 2, 3. Move ahead a little bit. Got something over here. I don't know if that's a cloud or what, but we got this object here. Okay. Alright, it appears to be, well, that's a pretty interesting looking thing. Is that lightning? What is that? Now that is a strange looking thing, the way that that's dancing up in the sky like that. Is that real? Is that not? I can't tell you at this point in time. Other than it merits investigation to see what that was. Alright. And that, my friends, that is our UFO news. Let me jump away for a minute to a song, and I'll be right back.
Headline edition, July 8th, 1947.
One day, I was looking to the sky. I saw up above the clouds, it was a silver shiny disc floating high above the ground. Then I saw them waving to me. It was E.T. and his family. Something happened up the street from the ground. The sky they shot the UFO down. Roswell, he didn't make it home. Roswell, he didn't make it home.
So you heard the part at the beginning of the show of Ron Paul. Ron Paul and his nomination or his running for the president. But they really don't want this guy to win. Here's a poll. Here's a number of polls here. This is over at Godlike Productions. It's a listing of polls that are out there. And strangely enough, I want you to see this with your own eyes. This is CNN. And you click on the CNN link. Okay, we got to take a moment here to go through their little skip this ad section here. Okay, now check this out. This is the Ron Paul. This is the ad at CNN. Which GOP contender has the best shot of being elected president? Bachmann, Perry, or Romney? There's only 3 choices. How could that be? There's only 3 choices here. There's more than 3 people that are running, yet CNN would have you believe that there are only 3 opportunities to vote. That's not fair. CNN, what are you doing? You've just proven yourself to be biased. If you haven't already, definitely have now, because as far as I saw last night, there was more than 3 people on the stage, and it seemed to me that that debate had the CNN logo on it as it was taking place. So what's up with the 3 candidates? I know there's a lot more. Ron Paul's name should be on there. There should be several other names on here as well, but they're missing in action. So America, pay attention. They're not wanting Ron Paul to win for some reason. You know why? Because Ron Paul says things that makes them nervous. They don't like it. Ron Paul speaks the truth, and he talks about the Constitution, and they don't like that. They want to change policy in different ways than Ron Paul has in mind. So get on the Ron Paul bandwagon, my friends. I'm not going to claim on this show that we support any other candidate, because Ron Paul is the only one that we support around here. And in that regards, well, we are biased. So there you have it. All right. Our next report here comes to us. I'm going to play a little bit of clip from InfoWars. I'm going to play a portion of this. Now, Luke Rudkowski, you heard a bit of him the other day when he was out there in Times Square, and he was talking to people out in Times Square about World Trade Center 7, about what went on. But he was out there more than just in Times Square. He was out there for the event itself at Ground Zero, and there was a lot of things that went on. For example, people that were truthers were kept out of the circle. They were not allowed to go into the main area, just like the firefighters. Anybody that knows the truth of what went on were not allowed to go in there to look at the big hole in the ground that represents, the inside job that was done to this country. It's so sad that so many people are fooled by this. I just don't understand where this country is going and why so many individuals know that the government lies but choose to believe them as far as that particular event goes. And they just crammed it down your throat with the information that's all falsehoods. Folks, if you want to know what happened on 9/11, the information is really easy to find. All you have to do is go on the internet. Start with World Trade Center 7. Check that one out. It wasn't hit by a plane on the day of 9/11, but at 5 o'clock it collapsed, just like the other ones did. And it went straight down. This one looked exactly like a demolition. In the music video you saw before this called Wake Up, you saw a sample of that. In each of the choruses, you saw those buildings coming down, side by side with another building going down in a demolition. Exactly the same type of thing. The truth's out there, my friends. You just have to be willing to look. And if you're not willing to look, then I don't really understand how you could call yourself an American patriot and be out there waving the flag of patriotism, because a major crime happened in this country. The criminals are still running loose, and people are all content thinking that the people that died have gotten their justice. They haven't. Justice has not been served, because the people who are behind this are still out there. And it's not the 19 hijackers, because some of them are still alive. The hijackers weren't the ones who were in charge of this mission. You want to understand more about this? Do some research, please. And you'll find the trail leads to Dick Cheney, George Bush, Donald Rumsfeld, Condoleezza Rice, and the Bush administration. There's a lot of wackiness going on, and every year that goes by, people are taught to forget what really happened. And that's a shame, because history is being rewritten before your eyes. And one day, you are going to find the truth, and you're going to wonder why it took so long for you to be able to understand what the truth was. And if you had only realized the truth at the time, just think of how much pain we could have actually saved ourselves. A lot of pain, my friends. A lot of pain could have been saved if we just would have opened up our eyes and we just look at the truth. Come on, man. Don't be afraid. Take that step and look at the truth. Start with World Trade Center 7. In the meantime, I want you to listen to this piece here of Luke Rudkowski talking about 9/11.
Going to Luke Rudkowski, I wanted to get Luke to pop in, founder of We Are Change, great journalist and activist in his own right, to break down what the feeling was of the crowds there, the checkpoints all over the city, and how it was used for a police state. 10 years later, Luke, what's your view on 9/11 and what you witnessed at this important memorial?
I mean, this event, this anniversary was unlike any other. I mean, the police barricaded miles of New York City. It took at least an hour to get from one block to another. It was the most craziest thing since the Obama inauguration, with National Guard on the street with M16 rifles, shotguns, full force. They were searching people. They were searching people's bags, detaining people for wearing a 9/11 was an inside job t-shirt, and telling them they couldn't get near the memorial because they had a 9/11 was an inside job t-shirt. It was one of the most intense things, total lockdown of the city. Police were everywhere, and you couldn't get around, you couldn't move around anywhere, and it was really just insane seeing the full force out there.
Luke, let me stop you. This is big breaking news, and I'm going to cover it tonight then on television, and we're going to get an article out because you are a reporter and respected. How fast can you get footage, or is there footage of the police saying, if you have a 9/11 Truth shirt, you aren't even allowed anywhere near on public streets? That is huge discrimination.
Yes, I believe there's a video in the process of being uploaded right now by another 9/11 activist that was there, that was actually detained by them. It should be uploaded very soon. If I have the link, I'll send it.
Yeah, more and more, that was the talking point we cover in Truth Rising, is Fox, CNN, MSNBC. They say 9/11 Truth works with Al-Qaeda. It's not just that we're exposing the government did it. We're really terrorists. And, of course, we have the police saying your camera's a gun and a bomb and that they're going to frame you. That's in Truth Rising. So this is a standard M.O. now. Tell me more, Luke.
And they even arrested a man for speaking out against 9/11 Truth. He was, of course, raising his voice. He immediately had cops come on him and detain him and arrest him for just simply speaking out.
Wow, so now it's like North Korea. Now, not only are there checkpoints and people being searched and military with guns, but now they arrest you. Wow. Land of the free, huh?
It was pretty intense. People were all over the place. I actually got a lot of great interviews with family members who supported new investigations, who didn't want to be used by the administration to prop up their propaganda. So I've been just working on a lot of videos this weekend. You're going to be seeing them on youtube.com/WeAreChange. I'm going to release a new video every morning. And it was just one of the surrealist. You couldn't get anywhere near the memorial. Usually any other events, you had a press identification card. They would let you right into the memorial and be there with everything. But it was just the most complete, controlled lockdown that I ever seen in New York City. And it was surreal seeing just people just like scattered all over the place. And it definitely wasn't well put together at all.
All right, we're going to end that one right there. You can check it out. I want to have this video on our page, firstcontactradio.com, right-hand side, daily news. You'll be able to check it out there. And we're going to keep on top of what's going on with the rest of the story. Now, here's another important story. It says, co-chair of the Congressional Inquiry into 9/11 calls for a new 9/11 investigation. This is from Washington's blog. It says, the co-chair of the Congressional Inquiry into 9/11 and former head of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Bob Grain, previously stated that an FBI informant had hosted and rented a room to two hijackers in 2000, and that when the inquiry sought to interview the informant, the FBI refused outright and then hid him in an unknown location, and that high-level FBI officials stated these blocking maneuvers were undertaken under orders from the White House. Today, Graham called for a new 9/11 investigation, as Raw story notes. Graham on Monday called the U.S. government to reopen an investigation into 9/11 after a report found that links between Saudi Arabian hijackers were never disclosed by the FBI to the 2002 Joint Congressional Intelligence Committee investigating the attacks. In the final report of the congressional inquiry, there was a chapter related primarily to the Saudi role in 9/11, which was totally censored. Every word of the chapter has been withheld from the public, Graham said to the MSNBC Dylan Radigan show. Some of the other questions we ought to be asking if we are to know that the Saudis who lived in San Diego and now apparently in Sarasota received substantial assistance. What about the Saudis who lived in Phoenix, Arizona or Arlington, Virginia? What was happening in those places? I believe these are questions for which there are definitive answers, but the American people and largely their elected representatives have been denied that information. Many other 9/11 commissioners and congressmen have called for a new investigation, including 9/11 Commissioner Bob Kerrey said that there is ample reason to suspect that there may have been some alternative to what we were outlined in our version. Lee Hamilton says, I don't believe for a minute we got everything right. Max Cleland resigned from the commission, stating it's a national scandal. The investigation is now compromised. Senator Mike Gravel, who is the main congressman responsible for making the Pentagon Papers public, calls for a new 9/11 investigation. Congressman Ron Paul calls for a new 9/11 investigation and states that we see the 9/11 investigations that have been done so far are more or less of a cover-up and no real explanation to what went on. We have Congressman Dennis Kucinich wants a new investigation. Congressman Jason Chavez says that we need to be vigilant and continue to investigate 9/11. Senator Lincoln Chafee endorses a new investigation, as does Congressman Dan Hamburg. In addition, many high-level military and intelligence officials have called for a new investigation, including Dan Ellsberg, U.S. Commanding General of U.S. European Command and Supreme Allied Commander, Europe, decorated with the Bronze Star, Silver Star, and Purple Heart, General Wesley Clark, former Deputy Secretary for Intelligence and warring under the Nixon and Ford Morton Golder, former Deputy Director to the White House Task Force on Terrorism, Edward Peck, and former U.S. Department of State Foreign Service official J. Michael Springsteen, as well as a who's who of liberals and independents, jointly call for a new investigation. You can find these names and more just by going online and looking. I'm telling you, folks, the evidence is absolutely overwhelming. I don't care what they're telling you on Fox, CNN, MSNBC. You go online and you challenge yourself to look. I dare you to look. Put away your fear for one day and go look. Spend a day looking. You will be blown away at what you find. I'm telling you, you're going to be amazed and you're going to smack yourself upside the head when you realize that it's taken you this long to look at something that is so obvious and so many people already know. All right? Let's take a quick listen to what he has to say right here. And then again, maybe not. Oh, here we go. Oh, we get the traditional commercial here, so let's just kind of skip through here. What's next while that commercial is going on? All right, we've only got a few seconds. Here we go.
Well, remembrance and speculation as our nation honors the victims of September 11th and once again mourns their passing. New questions emerging about who we really can trust. Good Monday afternoon to you. I am Dylan Radigan in New York, and today the Ground Zero Memorial officially open to the public. Tonight, Congress will gather on the steps of the Capitol, just as they did after the attacks. And while the psychological scars do remain, so too do questions, too many and too abundant, about the actions of our own government both before and after the attacks. You and I both know there has been a lot of conspiracy talk about 9/11 over the past decade. But there is one theory that has hard evidence to back it up. It involves the Saudi royal family. The unrelated Saudi family connected to it, a quick getaway, a secret investigation that no one, not Congress, not the 9/11 Commission, no one knew about.
was never introduced into the research field until now. It was mentioned on this program first on Friday. I wanted to amplify it today as our lead. With us to expand, former Senator Bob Graham, who co-chaired the Congressional 9/11 inquiry, which sent its report to the 9/11 Commission. He was ultimately forced to write this book, which I suggest you read. It's called Keys to the Kingdom. It was written as a fiction to avoid being forced through intelligence and security services to redact his Saudi concerns to connections to terrorist funding. Rejoining us from Friday, the man who broke the story of the never-reported Saudi family in Florida tied to the terrorists, Anthony Summers. His recently published book, The 11th Day. It is a pleasure to welcome both of them back to this program. And Mr. Summers, please clarify for all of us what it is exactly that you've discovered and why it's relevant.
In a nutshell, I was following up a lead that I'd had during the writing of The 11th Day, but could only write a little on. After the book was published last week, I got to Florida and I located the counterterrorism agent who explained to me that there was a major investigation that involved very much the FBI, which has been completely concealed. The investigation concerned a Saudi couple who lived in a gated community near Sarasota, who left on August the 30th, just 2 weeks before 9/11, leaving their house as if they'd just gone out to get the groceries or to go to a movie. They'd completely abandoned it, leaving a newly bought PT Cruiser in the drive, cars in the drive.
What is the relevancy, though, of a given Saudi family's being at home or not?
Because after they'd gone and when the FBI investigated, according to multiple sources, including my counterterrorism agent, they found that the phone records, when analyzed, and most important, the gate records at the gated community.
Physical visitors.
Yes. Of cars that had come and gone and had to say who they were going to
Understood.
see. That they photographed their registration plates, they took their names in some cases, and they discovered from these sources that 3 of the pilot hijackers involved in the 9/11 attacks had all been in touch with the Saudis at that house.
Was there any evidence that that family had any relationship to the administration or government of Saudi Arabia?
The wife, there was a couple, and the wife of the couple talked extensively to a neighbor, saying that they were very important people in Saudi Arabia and they were connected to the royal family.
Congressman Graham, the information that we just heard, there's another family, I understand, in California that has had an association with the terrorists themselves. This information about Saudi families in America was not included or revealed to you at the time of your inquiry. Is that correct?
That's correct, Dylan. Actually, in San Diego, there was a man and a circle of his friends. The man was described by the FBI as being a Saudi agent. His purpose in San Diego was to monitor Saudi students to assure that they weren't plotting to overthrow the monarchy. But in January of 2000, he got a second assignment, which was to provide protection for 2 Saudis who had just entered the country. He was encouraged to invite them to come to San Diego. They did. He provided them money, a place to live, flight lessons, and an infrastructure of Muslims in San Diego to give them protection and anonymity. These 2 individuals were on the plane that flew into the Pentagon.
All right, I'm going to stop that one right there. There's about another 5 minutes ago. I played half of that for you, so you'll be able to check this out online on our YouTube. Well, actually, right from our page, firstcontactradio.com, right-hand side, Daily News. Now, here we have another report that James Murdoch is going to have to face Parliament again. Another case of another liar having to go face his lies.
At least one member of the Murdoch family will be back before Parliament soon. A senior British lawmaker says James Murdoch will face a second grilling about the phone hacking scandal. Murdoch last appeared before Parliament along with his father, Rupert, on July 19th. The announcement came after former News Corp employees cast doubt on several of the Murdoch's claims. A former News of the World editor and a former legal advisor insisted James Murdoch was wrong when he claimed not to have been made aware of a critical piece of evidence. The evidence suggested illegal espionage was far more widespread at the tabloid than was being claimed. James Murdoch has stood by his testimony. The head of Parliament's Media Committee says members are close to wrapping up their deliberations, but wanted to tie up loose ends by recalling witnesses. Ed Donahue, The Associated Press.
All right, so he lied last time. He's being called back. Now we've got a major news organization, News Corporation. There have been pointed out that they've lied over and over, that they've paid people off, that they've, scandalous activity. This is one of the organizations, Fox News, here in the States, that is putting out all this information against 9/11. They're not telling you the truth. So the lies are very deep, my friends. It's the mainstream media. Now, I know some people don't consider Fox mainstream for some reason. They are one of the most watched that's out there. They're mainstream. Fox, MSN, CNN, MSNBC, these are all mainstream media networks, and they put out lies and propaganda. Don't listen to what they say, because they're not telling you the truth. And if you listen to them, listen with a grain of salt. Listen for the lies, and then go online and do some fact checking for yourself, my friends. Think for yourself. Think for yourself. That's the important part. They don't want you to think for yourself. I do. It's very important. If you think for yourself, you'll be pretty amazed at what you might discover. All right, now, moving right along. We're almost done here. Yesterday we did a story about a new planet found. Well, apparently that number has gone up. Now it's 50 planets. It says the HARPS spectrograph on the 3.6 meter telegraph of ESO La Silla Observatory in Chile is the world's most successful planet finder. The HARPS team, led by Michael Mayer, University of Geneva, Switzerland, have announced the discovery of more than 50 new exoplanets orbiting nearby stars, including 16 super-Earths. This is the largest number of such planets ever announced at one time. The new findings are being presented at a conference on extreme solar systems where 350 exoplanet experts are meeting in Wyoming, USA. And as you can see here, the story is out there in other places here at space.com. We've got the same story up here. And there you have it. So that would be our news and information for today. All that leaves for us is time for a little meditation. So go ahead, my friends, and close your eyes and relax. Close your eyes and relax. I want you to imagine yourself walking down a path. You're walking down a path of life, and you come to a fork in the road. And the fork in the road has two directions. One is pointing to the truth, and one is pointing to the lies. And you have your opportunity at this point to walk down either path. If you walk down the path of lies, you could see that it is paved with what appears to be gold. And it seems to be a path that leads to wealth and riches. And if you look down the other path, the path of truth, it is a simple dirt road leading into the distance through nature, through the trees, alongside a river. Choose which path you want to walk on. And for a moment, let's say you start to walk down the path of lies. And as you do, you quickly realize that this is not a path of gold, but simply paint it over the dirt to make it look as if it was gold. And you realize that the first lie is the lie of the path itself. And as you continue to move along, you look up into the sky and you think that you see some clouds and some birds flying, and you realize these are just holographic images up there, that these aren't even real. And you realize the next part of the path of lies is that the things around you are all lies. And the further and further you walk, as you meet individuals along the path, you realize that on the path of lies, nobody tells the truth. And therefore you do not understand what it is that is capable and what is not. You do not understand what is real and what is not. And now as you continue to walk, you make a decision. You want to leave the path of lies, but you're not sure how you can do so. But then you realize a very simple lesson, that walking from the path of lies back to the path of truth is not a difficult process at all. And by simply closing your eyes and wanting to be on that path of truth, when you open them, you find that you are there, transported from the path of lies to the path of truth. And as you walk along, you see the birds in the sky and the blue sky and the clouds, and you see that these are real. You look at the ground and you see the dirt, and you know that it is the real ground, and the grass is green, and the trees and the water and the river are all real. And you feel life and energy from this path of truth. And it energizes you, and it nurtures you, and you feel stronger and more alive. And as you walk along this path, imagine all your chakras activated, starting with the bottom of the spine, red, raising the energy up to the second chakra, orange, to the third chakra below the rib cage, yellow, up to the heart, green, to the throat, blue, third eye, violet, and the crown chakra, indigo, and then up into the cosmos, bright white light. Allow that energy in you to overflow, to fill your body with this bright white light. See it, feel it, and then as it overflows, you see this line of light around you as your energy extends from the inside out, forming this spiritual armor around you. Now imagine sending this protection around your environment, out to your city, your state, your country, and then across the world to all of the other countries. Imagine sending protection up into the cosmos, protecting our planet, and down into the earth to protect the earth. Imagine from your heart chakra that you send a ray of green love energy all around the world, and it connects with each and every individual. And you feel the energy coming to you as love is being sent to you from around the world, from others as well. Send this love down into the earth, and feel the earth smile. And send this energy up into the cosmos, and feel your space brothers and sisters smiling down upon you, thanking you for the love. And allow this love just to continue to go out into the universe, letting the universe know that love is what we here on earth choose to give into the universe. Now, let's just imagine everybody in the world going out there and having a great day, a positive day, a day where we step from the path of lies to the path of truth. And holding these thoughts in our mind, let's bring our energy and attention back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Shake out your arms and your legs. Wake yourself up. We are done with our meditation. We are done with the show. That's it for today, my friends. It has been a pleasure as always. Go out there, have a great day, be safe, have fun. And just remember, we're all in this together. We're all going to make it through it together. We have to support each other along the way. And let's keep doing that. Words of encouragement will go a long way, my friends. You know that, I know that. So let's keep sending words of encouragement to each and every one. For Dirk Bradshaw, my name's Josh Poet. Thanks again for listening. I'll be back again tomorrow. Peace. I'm out of here.